Ever had the urge to cook noodles late at night, but never went through with the plan because parents might wake up? Noodles are the perfect snack for any occasion. For fatigue, stress, anxiety, and most common of them all, hunger. People who stay up late at night studying or doing homework become hungry as your energy slowly depletes as time passes, soon passing out from exhaustion or realizing they're just really tired and need to take a break. Noodles are great for replenishing energy as it takes minimal effort to make such a tasty meal, but will fill your stomach right away. Cooking simple, delicious instant noodles is one of many meals to help get back on track to finish what has been started, and by following the process, it should make little to no noise at all in the kitchen. The first step to creating noodles is to get up out of bed, get into the kitchen, preparing the cookware. The cookware being used will be a frying pan, a pot that can fit the noodles, a spatula, some tongs, a knife, and also a small mesh strainer. We will also need an instant noodle package, some water, green onions, and an egg. However, green onions and eggs are not required but is recommended. Once everything is laid out, begin by filling a small pot with water to a little higher than the halfway mark. The amount of water should be able to cover every part of the noodles once it is submerged. Place the pot on the stove, cover the pot with a lid, and set the heat to medium-low. Setting the heat to medium-low allows the water to boil without making too much noise. While waiting for the water to boil, it is now time to chop the ingredients. The only ingredients needed to be chopped are green onions, and make sure not to chop your fingers off. Cut the green onions in small round circles until the bulb. If there are bubbling or whistling sounds coming from the pot, that means the water is at a boil and it is now time to cook. The next step to creating the masterpiece is to take the uncooked noodles out of its package with its seasonings and extra sauce as your garnishes. Do not open the seasoning packets just yet. Seasonings will be added after the noodles are cooked. Take off the lid from the pot and with the tongs that were laid out. Use it to transfer the noodles from the package to the boiling water, submerging all of the noodles underwater. In a short amount of time, the noodles start to separate from each other, forming long, individual strands. When the noodles are in individual strands, lift the pot from the stove and pour the noodles into a mesh strainer to drain out the excess water from the noodles. The noodles should have little to no water as possible, so that as the seasonings are put in, it will stick to the noodles, not the bowl. Once most of the water is drained, pour it into an appropriate sized bowl that could fit the noodles and cover the top so the steam will not escape, keeping the noodles as warm and as moist as possible. As soon as the noodles are finished, place the frying pan onto the stove and preheat the pan on medium-low heat. The easiest way to know that the pan is hot is pouring drops of water onto the pan. If the water drops do not evaporate and glide across the pan, it is ready. Take out the water and pour the oil so that it covers the whole pan. Now, grab an egg and crack it onto the frying pan. Make sure there are no eggshells in the egg and to throw the remaining eggshells in the garbage can. Sprinkle a generous amount of salt and pepper and cook thoroughly until both sides are brown and the egg yolk is runny. If the preferred texture is solid, cook the egg a little bit longer. Once it is finished, turn off the stove and transfer the cooked egg from the pan onto a smaller plate. Finally, it is time to piece the masterpiece together. Grab the bowl of noodles, seasoning, and garnish packets from the noodle package. Using scissors, cut the packets open and dump the innings of the packets onto the noodles. And once there is no more seasoning left in the packet, throw the plastic packets into the trash. Using a food utensil of choice, preferably fork or chopsticks, incorporate all ingredients together until it is spread equally throughout. Take the plate with the egg and carefully slide it on top of the noodles. Come back to the green onions that were chopped and sprinkle it on top of the noodles as a garnish. That's it! The perfect midnight snack. Noodles are a great meal that will fill up any stomach. The steps are simple to follow, the aftercare doesn't take long. It's amazing.